In January 2022, this man was worth $26 billion. He was on magazine covers, on the Super Bowl, shaking hands with presidents. People called him the next Warren Buffett. 10 months later, he had nothing. His company went from $32 billion to zero in 10 days, and roughly $8 billion of other people's money simply vanished. This is the story of how the golden boy of crypto built an empire on a lie, and how fast it all came apart. His name was Sam Bankman-Fried. Everyone called him SBF. He was an MIT graduate who landed at Jane Street, one of the most secretive and profitable trading firms on Wall Street. There he learned arbitrage, making money from tiny price differences, executed at massive scale. In 2017, he spotted something wild. Bitcoin was trading for very different prices in different countries, sometimes a 60% gap. So he built a firm called Alameda Research to exploit it and made tens of millions almost immediately. But SBF had an image most traders didn't. He drove a beat-up car. He slept on a beanbag at the office. He said he wasn't in it for money. He was going to give it all away to charity, part of a movement called effective altruism. A billionaire who lived like a student and promised to save the world. Wall Street had never seen a story quite like it, and that story was worth more than money. It bought him something far more dangerous: trust. Investors handed him hundreds of millions without the usual scrutiny. Regulators invited him to advise them. Politicians took his donations. When everyone believes you're the good guy, nobody checks the vault. In 2019, SBF launched FTX, a crypto exchange, a place where anyone could buy and sell digital currencies. It was slick, fast, and easy to use, and it grew at a speed almost no company in history had matched. By 2021, FTX raised money at a $25 billion valuation. SBF hit the Forbes billionaires list with a net worth over $22 billion. Then came the marketing blitz. FTX bought the naming rights to the Miami Heat's arena, $135 million over 19 years. They sponsored a Formula One team. Tom Brady and Giselle became ambassadors. And in February 2022, a Super Bowl ad starring Larry David told millions of people, "Don't miss out." FTX moved to the Bahamas, where SBF and his inner circle lived and worked out of a $40 million penthouse. From the outside, it looked like the future of finance. On the inside, something was very wrong. Here's what the public didn't see. FTX had created its own cryptocurrency, a token called FTT. FTX could print it out of thin air, and Alameda, SBF's private trading firm, supposedly separate from the exchange, held a huge pile of this token and used it as if it were real money. That's the trick. Alameda's balance sheet was propped up by a coin its own sister company invented and controlled. It's like valuing your fortune in tickets you printed yourself, then borrowing real money against them. Worse, prosecutors would later say FTX was quietly funneling customer deposits, real money from ordinary people, over to Alameda to cover its risky bets. The two companies were never truly separate. Billions of dollars of customer funds were being used as a private piggy bank. As long as no one asked for their money back all at once, the illusion held. And why would they? FTX looked bulletproof. It was bailing out other failing crypto firms, positioning SBF as the industry's savior. The more he rescued others, the safer FTX seemed, while underneath the hole was only getting deeper. Every good headline bought a little more time, but time was the one thing the math would eventually run out of. On November the 2nd, 2022, a news site called CoinDesk published a leaked document. It showed that Alameda's assets were mostly just FTT, the made-up token. The illusion was now public. Then the killer blow. The head of Binance, the world's biggest crypto exchange and a rival, announced he was selling all of his FTT. The price began to fall, and once it fell, panic spread. Customers rushed to pull their money out of FTX all at once. Over $6 billion in withdrawals in 72 hours. But the money wasn't there. It had been gambled away through Alameda. FTX froze withdrawals. The token collapsed. The rescue deals fell apart. And on November 11th, just 10 days after that first article, FTX filed for bankruptcy. A $32 billion empire was worth zero. The fallout was brutal. Roughly 1 million people were owed money. SBF was arrested in the Bahamas, extradited to the United States, and put on trial. In 2024, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison. The beanbag billionaire who promised to give it all away had overseen one of the largest financial frauds in American history. But here's the part worth remembering. FTX didn't collapse because crypto is fake or because the technology failed. It collapsed for the oldest reason there is, on a company spending customer money it promised was safe and hoping nobody would check. New logo, same trick. The tools change. Human nature doesn't. And that's exactly why it will happen again.